All right, Algebra 1. So your second objective for this lesson is to find the equation of a linear function. Now, this is going to take some like real math work, but on slide number 1, you have been linked a calculator to help you out so that you're not confusing your negatives and your positives. So here are the 3 steps, right? We have to take 2 points from the table or the line and determine the slope using the slope formula. After, we use the slope and one of the points from the line to find the y-intercept. After we find the slope and the y-intercept, we simply state the equation, okay? So in order to state an equation, you have to have the y-intercept and the slope. So here is the slope formula. This should be familiar for a lot of you guys. It's the rise over run, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? Now we're gonna pause. These are 3 samples from IXL. So as you can see, each one is a little bit different. This one doesn't have a y-intercept. This one does, and this one is asking you for everything from scratch. So we're gonna go ahead and do those model problems together, okay? Fill in the missing number to complete the linear equation that gives the rule for this table, okay? So the first step is to use the slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's the slope formula, guys. And I'm going to cross that out because I actually need space. And I did it backwards. We got to pick 2 points. I'm not going to use 0, 0 because it doesn't really make sense. So I'm going to use 123 and 246. Now, since these are in order, like from top to bottom, this is going to be my x1 and my x2, my y1 and my y2, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and restate the pairs over here. I have 1 comma 23, which is my x1, y1. And then I have 2 comma 46, which is my x2, y2. Okay? Pick 2 points, plug it into the formula. I'm going to rewrite it right here, right? So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then we're simply plugging in, okay? So my y2 is 46, and it's always subtracting. So even if your y1 is negative, you plug in that negative. So this is positive in this case, minus 23 over my x2 is 2 minus, and my x1 is positive 1. And then I'm just doing the math, okay? So because of time, I'm just going to use my cell phone, but you guys are free to use the Desmos calculator that I linked on slide 1, okay? So 46 minus 23 equals 23 over 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. And then finally we do the division. Now it's always a top number divided by the bottom. So it's going to be 23 divided by 1, right? I'm just modeling it for you, but you guys should know that. It equals to 23. So we know that the slope for this line is m equals 23. Now that's step 1, okay? Step 2 is to use the slope and one of the points. You honestly could use any, but I like to just use a repeat one. And I always like pick the first one, just like, so I'm repeating the same steps over and over, okay? So I'm gonna use step 2, I'm gonna say m equals 23, and I'm gonna use 1 and 1 comma 23, okay? Now I know that the formula is y equals mx plus b, okay? In this case, I have an m, I have an y, and I have an x, right? This is my x, and this is my y, okay? So I'm simply going to plug in. So my y is 23 equals, now m and x are multiplying, okay? Because the 2 variables are next to each other. 23 times 1, because that's my x, plus b, okay? So 23 equals 23 plus b. Now to get the b alone, which is the y-intercept, I have to subtract 23 from both sides, and I get 0 equals b. So that explains why here there's no y-intercept, okay? So this is only asking for the slope because remember it's y equals mx plus b. So here I would simply put 23 and check it out. You should get some points in IXL. Let's look at another example. Model problem number 2. Okay, fill in the missing numbers to complete the linear equation that gives a rule for this table. Right. Step 1, pick 2 points. We could do these two, right? Pick any 2 points. And remember they're in order. So this is x1, x2, y1, y2. Rewrite those bad boys over there. 7 comma negative 58 and 8 comma negative 54, x1, y1, x2, y2. Then you're going to plug it into the formula. I know that the formula is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? So my y2 is negative 54 minus, now this is what I was saying before. See how y1 is negative? It's going to be minus 58. You're going to have 2 minus signs in that case, okay? This subtraction sign is always subtracting. Just because this is negative doesn't mean anything, okay? Divided by x2 is 8, and x1, again, we're minusing 7, okay? Now, if you know anything about this, we got 2 negatives together, so they become addition, okay? So I get negative 54 plus 58. Handy dandy calculator. Negative 54 plus 58, I get positive 4 over 8 minus 7 is 1. 4 divided by 1 equals 4. So I know that my m equals to 4. Step 2, I have to use a slope and one other point. Now again, I'll just use the first one like I've been doing. So remember, if you repeat the same steps, you'll get better at it, okay? 7 comma negative 58. Remember, this is my x and this is my y. Plug it into the formula, y equals mx plus b, right? We have 3 different things to plug in for. My y is negative 58. My m is 4. And my x is 7 plus b. 4 times 7 is 28. So I get negative 58 equals 28 plus b. To get that b alone, I have to subtract 28 to both sides. Okay. It looks like I have 2 negatives subtracting from each other. So just be careful with your signs, guys. Okay. So I'm going to go right ahead, handy dandy calculator once again. Negative 58 minus 28 equals negative 86. So my y-intercept is negative 86. So that means that when I'm going back to my answer, remember your answer is in slope-intercept form, that y equals mx plus b, okay? Now it looks like it's subtracting as a hint to let you know that your b is negative. So this is going to be 86 right here, and your slope is going to be 4. And you should get some points. It might be a freebie. Now let's take it up another level, right? They don't have the fill in the blanks for us. We got to do everything from scratch. Write your answer as an equation with y first, followed by the equal signs. Repeating the same steps again, y'all, okay? Pick 2 points. They have to be in order, right? So I'll just do the first 2. x1, x2, y1, y2. Now this seems like little things, right? But you have to remember which one's your x1, y1, and which one's your x2, y2. 576, 677, x1, y1, x2, y2. And this is step 1. Plug it into that formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? My y2 is 77 minus my y1 is 76. That looks easy. My x2 is 6 minus, and my x1 is 5. 77 minus 76 is 1. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1 divided by 1 is 1. So my m equals 1. Now for step 2, again, my slope equals 1, and I'm picking always the first one that I used. 576. This is my x and this is my y. Plugging in for y equals mx plus b, right? My y is 76 equals, it looks like 1 for m times 1 plus b. 76 equals 1 plus b, because 1 times 1 is 1. Subtract that 1 from both sides. 75 equals b. That was easy. Okay. It was easy for me. I hope it was easy for you guys to follow. Okay. Feel free to pause the video, rewind it, go back. If there's like a part in the video that you don't understand, like timestamp it for me and, you know, or Mr. Morris or Mr. De Los Santos and come to office hours. Okay. So I know what my y-intercept is and I know what my slope is, which means I can write my formula. It's mx plus b form, guys. So it's going to be y equals, what's my m? My m is 1, 1x, and then my slope is positive 75 plus 75. If you get lucky to get this problem on your IXL, you just got some freebie points, okay? As always, ask questions, come to office hours if you need help.